All right, I think we are live for another episode of Sight Reading Maverick. I counted and now I already forgot, but I think this is the 37th episode. I got ahead of myself. 37th episode of my show. So I started it kind of towards the beginning of the pandemic and it has been a blast. And I have many friends that now join me on a weekly basis. So much fun. I see Inca Warrior is here. He is one such good friend that is here a lot of the time. And I sometimes play his works for the show. All right, so we have a full show today, of course, we always do, which is really great and fun. Oops, I see I have some opera music up. That's not exactly what I want to play today. The first request on today's show is a piece by François Couperin, and this is a request by Louis, who is another regular here. Who's here? He just said bonsoir. Bonsoir, Louis. All right, so this is from the Pièces de Clavecin. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, one of those many collections of pieces by Couperin. Now, always with Couperin, part of the challenge is there's lots of ornaments, and this is an older edition, but we'll make it work. I don't worry too much about ornamentation when I'm sight reading. That's kind of the last little layer I put on top, depending on if everything is going well. What else can I say? It's 2 pages long, it looks like. We're in B flat major, and the indication is 2 beats per measure. Let's see. And there's all these couplets. So let's see how this goes. And I don't know what the title means. And there's no way I'm going to be able to say it. It's in the description below if you want to know what the title is of this particular one. Looks like the fastest note value we have are 8th notes. As with a lot of these pieces, it gets more and more florid as we go. So I'm kind of looking at that, and it looks like when that happens, a lot of the time, like the right hand and the left hand have a moving line, but they're in parallel motion, so they'll be in thirds or sixths. So I'm quickly glancing at that because then I cannot be too concerned about it, and do a lot of it by ear and feel. All right, so let's just give it a go. It's marked gaily, so a nice tempo, not too slow. And I'm very uncomfortable at my bench today. I don't know what's going on. I'm being a piano diva. Okay. I'm also noticing as I'm looking ahead that the left hand goes up into the treble clef a lot, so I just need to be a little bit on my toes. 1, 2, 1. and Sandra, thank you. Sandra just piped in that the title means the reapers or the harvesters. So I like that. I'd like to think that maybe while they were harvesting, they would be singing this, dancing this. Not quite sure. Anyway, really charming. And even though I'm not real well versed on ornaments, I love this period of music, and I like at least pretending like I know what I'm doing, because it just helps to add such lightness and effervescence to everything. So, oh, okay. Sandra also pipes in that this piece was used as theme music for a radio program, perhaps in her childhood. It does actually, know what it sounds like? There was a thing on public TV for us too. It was like Masterpiece Theater that had something that was very similar to this piece. So maybe that's the same thing, Masterpiece Theater or something. All right, the next selection on today's program is by a composer that I discovered last week on the show, and his name is Leo Ornstein. Ornstein. And I played one of his pieces. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was one of his fancies. And I really loved it. So, and I also noticed that there's tons of music by him on IMSLP. So I decided to explore a little bit more. So I'm going to do another one today, and then probably another one next week. Really excited to find out about him. The one I'm going to do today is his Impromptu number 2. It's from a set of 4 impromptus that he wrote as a set. And this second one is called Epitaph. I forgot to put that in the description. Sorry about that. It looked more doable than the others, which is why I'm doing it. Okay. Yeah, his music really varies in style, so I'm not quite sure what to expect, but this looked like I tried to hear a little bit in my head, and it looked like something I could potentially do. Moderato espressivo. There's no key signature, but I think it's one of these ones that the key signature is written in as we go. He uses accidentals instead. So I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it can make it trickier in some regards, because then you have to remember the accidentals. We can do it though, right? Here on the second page, it gets a little bit dense. We've got octave texture in the right hand, plus we've got quite a lot of moving around in the left hand. I'm kind of doing a quick glance. The harmonies are not necessarily the same, because the right hand is moving melodically as the left hand, but the left hand harmonies are all consistent within like 2 measures at a time, 1 measure at a time. So I'll try to just grab on visually to the harmony in my left hand, concentrate on what's going on in the right hand. That's what I'm going to try. Looks like the left hand goes up to the treble clef off and on, but it's just because of these kind of arpeggiated things. Oh, we've got a quintuplet rhythm in the right hand. Not so bad. Mostly expressive purpose, I think. And then it does go back to the original tempo at the end. Last page, similar to the beginning part, but there's one spot that goes into 3 lines. So I want to quickly glance at that. Why is he doing that? Oh my goodness, I don't really know why he's doing that. Because we're going to have a very low sustained chord in there, in the left hand. That's all I can gather. All right, fastest note value are 16ths. He also writes with great flexibility. I like that. It's marked quarter note equals 88. How helpful. So we're going to do 1, Oh, that was intriguing. I'm really glad for pieces that go back to the A section at the end because it gives you a second chance. And in this particular piece, because there was no key signature, that was really disorienting at the beginning because the harmonies were, at least for me, not very predictable. And so I found I had to really tweak my strategy for sight reading it. I literally, and maybe if I had a better ear or I don't know, something, it would be easier for me to have done it. But I really had to keep, as I got to the end of a measure, I had to look back and make sure that I wasn't about to miss an accidental that had already occurred because it wasn't necessarily obvious to me. So it was interesting. All right, so there's Leo Ornstein, his Impromptu. I think that's really beautiful. I would love another chance at doing that. But anyway, all right. Next on the program, I saw somebody commented, oh, Inca Warrior said he's never heard his music. It is, bewitching is a really good word for it, isn't it? Yeah, lovely. Okay, next on the program is to continue my little quest to perform my friends' music or people I've met on Twitter or anybody really that is composing music for piano that's sight readable. A lot of times with composers, they may not necessarily get a chance to hear their own works performed by a pianist. You can have MIDI play it back for you, but it's not the same. So this is by a friend on Twitter. Her name is Malia Roberson, and she has a really interesting website. Maybe I'll try to put a link in the description box of this video. But I think she teaches theory and maybe some other things as well out in California. And she sent this to me just the other day. It's her Prelude number 2, and it's in E minor, and it was inspired by one of Chopin's Preludes, I think. I can't remember. She said it's the Dies Irae Prelude, and I didn't necessarily recognize that way of referring to it. Anyway, E minor, we've got a very repetitive bass line with this pattern. Sounds like a nocturne, actually, more than anything. And then the right hand similarly has very similar material that runs throughout. So I think this is going to be one of those very subtly changing pieces, but it looks lovely. I love E minor. So what can we do? Let's give it a shot. I'm very excited to try this. Oh, there are some rhythms, but let's see. It's in 6/8, forgot to say, andante. The only questionable rhythm thing is she's got some 32nd notes on the last eighth note of the measure in a couple spots, but that's easy enough. So I think aside from that, we're good to go. That was really beautiful. I don't know, Malia, if you're watching. If you are watching, thank you for that. When it got to the climax, it got a little bit more dense, and all of a sudden I was like, "Whoa!" So that's when I decided to take a little bit more time. But that was really beautiful. And for those that of you that are watching that are curious about the sight reading process, when I'm reading a piece like this that is quite repetitive, I use that as an opportunity to practice different things in the context of sight reading. For instance, the left hand was a very repetitive physical motion. So as I was going, I was really trying to find a gesture that I could use so that that was really automatic and I didn't have to think too much about the individual notes. And I really strived to get a beautiful sound. So, and then for the right hand, it was very motivic. So that figure repeated quite a bit. But it's just like, you know, when an actor, you take a line like to be or not to be, And you can say that one line a million different ways, right? Depending on your inflection and all that. It's the same with music. So I strive to do that too when I'm sight reading. Oh, Hudson's here. Hi, Hudson. Thank you. And Inca Warrior says, wow, Malia, fantastic. Yeah, I really liked that piece. So Malia, I'll be curious to know if you've written more pieces as well. So you'll have to share if you have. All right, the next piece was requested. It's another request by Louis. And this is from Tchaikovsky's set called The Seasons, which I've always heard about, but I have not actually read through them. So I'm very eager to do this now and have this reason. Louis requested number 6, which is June. It's the Barcarolle. And I think I recognize the melody, but beyond that, I'm not so sure. So we'll see. G minor, andante cantabile, 8th notes, pretty straightforward left hand. So melodies in the right. Second page, it goes into G major, poco più mosso, so we're gonna have a little more motion. Unfortunately, because it looks a little trickier, it gets kind of tricky, but there's all these chords, and I'm glancing, it's all just inversions of the same chord, so I can just wing it, right? And it's poco ritenuto there. And then it goes back to the beginning. Okay, let's try it. Nothing faster than 8 notes. And again, because I recognize the opening melody, I think I kind of know the tempo. I think I've heard this arranged for something besides piano. I think a lot of you are really getting to to know the pieces that I love, or the style. That was just right down my alley. Really, really beautiful. Um, so makes me curious to want to read more of the Tchaikovsky. Um, oh, Hudson actually just was thinking what I was thinking. So yeah, really beautiful. So yay! So thank you, Louis, for requesting that. All right. Next. Oh, okay. This is very intriguing, this next set for me. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. This is a set by, if I can find it, Samuel Coleridge-Taylor. You guys must all laugh at me for how I pronounce everything. Anyway, he was an English composer, and yeah. So I don't know a whole lot about him. I do know that he traveled to the United States at least 3 times on like a world tour type thing. And so I kind of happened across this as I was listening to music on Spotify, and it sounded intriguing to me because it sounded very American. So when I found out that he's English, actually, that made me even more curious. These are his cameos. I don't know how much I'm going to get through, but I'll at least try to get through maybe the first one and the third one today, and then we'll see if we have time later on for the rest. Looking at time here. The first one is marked Allegro ma non troppo. I like the ma non troppo part, so that means allegro but not too much. F major, 2-4. We've got some 16ths, but the 16ths are really just, it's nothing fancy. Just, what do you call them? I don't know, like little trills, basically. It does change key, so we start off in F, and then it goes into A flat for a little bit, and then it goes into E major. That's interesting. Is that true? Yeah, that's true. That's bizarre. But it's very homophonic in this E major section, and then it goes back to the beginning. We've got some grace note things. I can always leave grace notes out if need be. Okay. Some interesting ways that he's beamed some of this that makes it look visually confusing. So we'll see how that goes. I think I'm going to do 1, 2. Lots of fun. Um, Richard, oh, okay. Richard is making it. Ah, okay. Yes, I would love to record some of your pieces, Richard. Um, that was such a fun piece. And again, to me, that does not sound like it's written by an English composer. That could just be me, but I'm just saying that does not sound English to me. Um, really fabulous. Okay, I'm now going to skip the second one, and I want to read the third one. The third one is marked Andante, and it's in G minor. Can you guess why I wanted to read it? It's in G minor. And it's a 6/8, so, you know, I'm a sucker for 6/8 in minor. I'm so sorry, that's just the way I am. It does change key quite a bit. It starts off in G minor, then it goes to D minor, and then it goes to who knows. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and read it. There's lots of places with lots of flats, but in general, the material is all quite repetitive. So hopefully it won't get dull. I'll try to jazz it up if it gets dull. Okay, that one wasn't as much of a favorite of mine as the other one, but very nice. I think there were a lot of harmonic surprises in there. Maybe there shouldn't have been, but they were sort of surprising to me, and so it didn't pull my heartstrings because I was just a little confused a lot of the time. That's okay. And so sometime I need to go back and read the second one of those as well, because I think it could be interesting. All right, the next piece on the program, if I'm right, is by, I'm assuming is French. There's actually not much information about this composer. Albert Chandelier, or it looks like Chandelier, but it doesn't sound nearly as fancy to say Albert Chandelier. Anyway, this was a request made by my friend Nick. So Nick, thank you for asking for this, although it is in 5 flats. Eek! It's a Chanson Triste. And this looks like it could have some challenging things in it. At least it's largo. So we're in B flat minor. Largo e ben cantando, so very singing. Oh my goodness. Okay, and for some reason my music is showing up really kind of small. I wonder if I can change that. That would be really nice. I'm going to do a quick thing here. Did that work? Wait, no. It did help. Okay. All right, so B flat minor. We've got all these like arpeggiated things. Okay, but it's just, that's not bad, maybe? And then we've got this like little fast line. Oh, this looks really kind of daunting. Okay. But hopefully it is largo. We've got these little doodles. All right, I'm just gonna try it. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it's throwing me off so much. Okay, probably because it's the end of the hour almost. So it gets a lot messier as we go on. So no faster than that. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. I don't know why that struck me as really difficult to read, but it was. But I really liked the melody, and I think now that I knew the melody, if I went back and reread it, I think I would have a little bit more of an understanding of what was going on. So thank you, Nick, for requesting that nice, challenging little piece. And to continue on in Nick's requests, he has requested a composer I've also not heard of, Johann Wilhelm Hässler, who apparently was alive between 1747 and 1822. This is his A minor sonata. I know nothing about him, but we're just going to go ahead and read it. I don't know how long it is. It's pretty long. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and I'm just going to dive in. This is the end of the show. And we're going to just throw caution to the wind and see what happens with this Hässler business. I am going to look a little bit, but I'm not going to narrate. Ooh. This is most intriguing. Okay. interesting. But this is the transcription that somebody has entered into like MuseScore or Finale, and there's some odd things in there, so I was a little bit caught off guard by those. But I want to keep reading on. This is the Largo movement. It's in 3. Ah, it's really short. And that was what it was. Ah, the last movement. Okay, we're going to go out with a bang, folks. Or maybe not. We'll see how I last. The last movement is a presto, of course, 6/8 A minor. Tons of notes. So hopefully I'll take a conservative tempo. And then, of course, I'll probably rush. I don't want to take it too slow, though. Perfect timing. All right, so that was, I don't even remember his name, Johann Wilhelm Hässler's A minor piano sonata. So thank you again to Nick for requesting that. And I really liked the last movement. I think that gets my prize out of all three of those movements. So I'll have to see if Hässler wrote other sonatas that I should take a look at. All right, I think that's all. As always, please do share your requests with me throughout the week. I really welcome them. Otherwise, I have to sift through all of IMSLP all on my own. So I do appreciate your requests. Thank you to Malia for sharing her piece today. And thank you to Nick and to Louis for your requests this week. Have a very good week, everyone, and I'll see you next episode.